looking for a peaceful embroidery video? Well, my friends, this is not it. This is a dumpster fire. Welcome to my channel. It's Bitty Penny. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. As promised, I've come back with more embroidery. Dear Diary, I think I hate embroidery. Slow stitching. Slow stitching is so hard, you guys. I don't know what I'm doing. I found a hoop this time. Aren't you proud of me? I could only find one. I have 2 packages of hoops that came in different sizes, and I could only find this one. I have no idea why, but this is my life. So I found a hoop this time, and I'm going to put this wrinkly fabric scrap on it. I picked my fabrics today because it's February and love is in the air. Not love a slow stitch, but love in general. So I thought that these patterns were fun and would be great to make trim. I'm making trim today, at least attempting it. And I'll tell you, like, there were so many struggles here. First of all, I think slow stitch, you should probably like be prepared and plan your projects out and like iron things. Like you can tell I have like all these scraps. This one is just so rolled up on itself. It's ridiculous. And I'm sitting here struggling with it. So don't worry. I will get an iron out. I'm not going to fight with this in the whole video, but yes, this is where it all started. So this is probably where the frustration started, working with wrinkled fabric. And I'm just kind of laying things out because I want to make trims for my junk journals. And I was really ambitious and decided I would make 3 because I thought I could fit 3 on this hoop. And why aren't there square hoops? Am I missing something? Is it aerodynamics? I don't know, but why are there no square hoops? We can talk more about that in a minute, but I'm going to iron my stuff. So I've got my glass mat out and I've got a piece of paper on it to prevent like condensation, you know, and so this is easy, and I didn't burn myself, which is miraculous. This iron is really frustrating because it's supposed to be like a non-stick iron, but all it does, it feels like sandpaper. No, it feels more like a suction cup. It totally sticks. It's the opposite of non-stick, but I do like the size. I'm going to try to be positive here, you guys. The iron's not the best. I wouldn't recommend it, okay? But I get my stuff ironed. I've seen people use like straighteners, like hair straighteners. Now that's appealing. I don't have one because I don't really do much of my hair. But I'm interested in getting one now. So I finally get everything ironed out, and this hoop is already starting to bug me because the edges, like this is about how long I wanted my strips to be, but I know I'm going to be fighting with the edges of this hoop. So I get my inexpensive little embroidery kit out, and I get some floss. I think it's called basting. I'm going to baste my fabric down so it's not flying everywhere. So come on, Captain Hook. You're the one thing I love about embroidery so far. I love Captain Hook. So Captain Hook is going to help me out here, and I'm just going to baste the stuff down and pump the brakes. All right. Why is my fabric pushing up like this? Is it the needle? I think it's a needle. I don't know. But every time, oh, that's so annoying. I would just push up all my trim, and then look at this struggle bus right here. Oh my goodness. I mean, what? It was going so well. I mean, I didn't enjoy the setup, but it was going well. I mean, I got a hoop, I ironed things, so that was all cool. But then now just getting the basting done was so like disheartening for me. I was like, oh no, this is not a good sign. So I try to run a few stitches. I'm getting really frustrated, and I decide, okay, it's the needle. It's all the needle's fault. So I'm going to change out my needle. I'm going to try to find a needle because I have very few. So I go to my bookbinding needles and I just try to find one that's not too massive, that has a pointy end and has a big enough eye for embroidery floss. I mean, not asking for too much, but maybe I am. So I find a couple of needles and I'm going to move on with those. Captain Hook, thank you, my friend. What would I do without you? I would quit embroidery without Captain Hook. That's what I would do without Captain Hook. So I think this one made it better. It definitely made it better. It had a sharper end. The first needle I started with was for embroidery, but it's like rounded. I know there's like a miller's needle, I think. Oh, I make it through. I get everything basted, okay? Just big fat stitches that hold my fabric down. I also go get a cup of golden milk tea because girl needs to calm down and enjoy the process, right? I get out my joyful daily stitching book. Hey, this book is cool, but there's not any, I haven't found the joy yet, okay? I noticed that these images with the beads make the blanket stitch make more sense for me about what you're supposed to do. The other images on the basic blanket stitch, I don't know. So I grabbed some floss that I thought would be fun for these patterns, and I'm just going to get some out. And everyone, thank you so much for your tips in my last video. I know you said like 2 or 3 strands. So here I am trying to separate my thread, and it didn't go well here. I'm a paper crafter, and I guess I just don't understand why we have to do this part of the process. Like, can't they just sell this to us in like 2-strand, 3-strand mixes where we don't have to do this? So yeah, I'm going to have to cut that and start all over. And separating this, and maybe there's a hack. I'm sure there is. You know, everyone says, oh, embroidery is just so, I've always had the perception that embroidery was just like so calming, and you know, you get a cup of tea and you just chill out, and then you make this amazing handmade lace and embroidery, and you know, like Snow White moments with animals. No, this hobby, if I started this during the pandemic, I would have been the first one back at my job. I'd been like, get me away from embroidery. I imagine there were people like that. I think a lot of people started embroidery during the pandemic, and I think those were probably the first people to return to their jobs. Not all, but maybe a lot of them, at least for this squirrel. That's how I feel. So I'm going to try to learn a stitch here with you guys. I'm going to try to learn the blanket stitch. I'm using this book, and it's making sense to me because of the beaded one. But here I am wrangling with this hoop and my needle. Maybe my needle's too long, but I'm like bumping into the hoop. I'm not enjoying this. It seems difficult. I'm having a really hard time making all of this line up. So I give the blanket stitch about 3 stitches worth of a try. And then I was like, I can hack this. I'm going to make my own stitch. It's going to be the faux blanket stitch. It's not going to be a real blanket stitch. So evidently there's a slow stitch term of stabbing. That's me. I'm the stabber. Especially by this point. I am already ready to stab this fabric. So I just make, and look at me go. I mean, I just start cruising, man. I am faux blanket stitching at the speed that I want to move, and I am cruising. And the whole time I'm doing this, all I can think is, I need an embroidery machine. I need a different thing. Where is my paper? I've lost my sanity. I need another cup of tea. This is not fun. So how many more embroidery videos will you see of mine? I don't know. I don't know, my friends. I mean, I think my faux blanket stitch is working out for me. I definitely kept drinking my tea, before I could even get one piece of trim done. My tea was running out. I spent so much time doing all of this. I could have made a whole entire junk journal, which is what my paper crafting mind was like. You could have made like 40 cards, a whole journal. You could have done laundry, the dishes, brushed and groomed the dog, and you were sitting here making one piece of trim. Oh my gosh. And that's the squirrel brain. Just, I don't think I'm well suited for this. You got, obviously, y'all are all like, please quit. Don't make another video. But like, I just don't think for my brain, I'm a fast crafter. I'm a high producer. And if you know that, you guys know that's me, right? That's my mode. Slow stitching, no, is not my mode. I should have known. It's in the name. It says slow. I don't want to go slow. I don't want to contemplate my life while I stitch. I don't want this pace. Like, there's too much rattling up here in my brain for slow stitching. So I thought I knew the French knot. I think I thought I knew the French knot in the last video. I completely lost that sequin. I found it later. It was stuck to me right under that thumb. But turns out I'm going to try it 3 more times, and I don't know the French knot. Oh, drink the tea. Drink the tea. I should have made another cup for the voiceover. But anyways, so I'm going to try the French knot again, and it's going to fail. It's going to pull straight through. I obviously have no idea how to make a French knot. I go to the book, and guess what knot is not in this book? It says 500 stitches, and I'm not dinging the book. The book is not the problem. I'm the problem. But out of all those stitches, they didn't show you how to do the French knot. So, well, we're just going to stitch it on with a stabbing technique, right? Because that's my move. Stab the slow stitch. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stab these sequins on. I needed the sequins. I needed bling. I needed distraction from the faux blanket stitch. And then guess what I did? I totally did not space these evenly. And that is another beginner telltale sign, I'm sure. Anybody who watches this, they're going to be like, everything you do is a telltale sign that you're a beginner. But when I rip this fabric apart and I glue this down in a journal, it's going to be a telltale sign that I was a beginner, because my sequins are not evenly, spaced out. They're very much haphazard. Okay, positives. Think of some positives. Well, I mean, it's a learning experience. I think it's good to do things like this, to branch out, to find out what you enjoy. I still love fabric arts. I just don't love this part of fabric arts. Like, I love fabric arts with glue, like Fabri-Tac, and a sewing machine. That's how I like fabric arts. I absolutely love all the slow stitching I see inspiration for on Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube. I mean, I have a whole new appreciation for what people can do with this, and the fact that they'll spend so much time doing it. And they probably feel that way when they watch my video. I'm running out of tea, you guys. Hello to everyone in New Mexico. Yeah, I could have used a gallon of hot tea to get me through this, but this is it. This is what I accomplished. This is what I did. I did one piece of trim. I'm so looking for my paper. Where is my paper? Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.